Buffalo extermination policy. In the mid-19th century, it was estimated that 30 million to 60 million buffalo roamed the plains. As they rumbled in the hundreds of thousands across the prairies, these herds got the nickname the Thunder of the Plains. They were a resource readily available for Native Americans and for railroad workers. Railroads hired people like William Buffalo Bill Cody to hunt the bison to feed thousands of rail laborers. But even that hunting failed to make much of a dent in the massive buffalo population. That all changed with the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869, which accelerated the decimation of the species. Massive hunting parties began to arrive in the West by train, with thousands of men packing buffalo rifles, massive 50 caliber rifles, and leaving a trail of buffalo death in their wake. The railroads even began to advertise excursions for hunting by rail. When the trains encountered the massive herds alongside or crossing the tracks, the trains would stop, and hundreds of men aboard the train would climb to the roofs and take aim, or fired from their windows, leaving hundreds, thousands of these 1,500-pound animals where they were left to die. Hunters began killing buffalo by the hundreds of thousands in the winter months. There was one buffalo hunter named Orlando Brown who brought down nearly 6,000 buffalo by himself, and because of his constant firing of his buffalo rifle, he lost his hearing. Congress grew alarmed and passed legislation in 1874 regulating the killing of buffalo. On January 5, 1874, a congressman from Illinois introduced a bill, H.R. 921, to prevent the useless slaughter of buffalo within the territories of the United States. The bill said that non-Indians could not kill female buffalo and were prohibited from killing no more than were needed for food. The bill was reported to the Senate and passed. It went to President Grant for his signature, but Congress adjourned before the bill could be signed. However, when Congress came back into session, President Ulysses S. Grant vetoed the measure. State governments weighed in too. The Texas State Legislature also unsuccessfully introduced a buffalo protection bill in 1875. General Philip Sheridan, commander of the United States Army in the West, wrote about this legislation and about the buffalo hunters. He said, quote, "These men have done more in the last 2 years and will do more in the next year to settle the vexed Indian question than the entire regular army has done in the last 40 years. These hunters are destroying the Indians' commissary. For a lasting peace, let them kill, skin, and sell until the buffaloes are exterminated. Then your prairies can be covered with speckled cattle." The bones of the dead buffalo were gathered and shipped back east for processing into various products. This is a photograph taken at a town called Delray, Michigan, which is near Detroit. This photograph was taken in 1892, but years earlier, the town was already well known for processing buffalo bones. In fact, the name of the town was Carbon Works. The bones were collected and sent to these processing centers. In this photograph, there's an estimated 180,000 skulls in this image. The buffalo bones were ground up for fertilizer, or burnt, carbonized, for use in refining sugar, or reduced to ash to produce high-quality porcelain used in dishware that was known as bone china. This bone processing center was the largest single business in Detroit prior to automobile production. The individuals who gathered the bones were called bone pickers, and they collected the bones for delivery to the plant. They were not paid in cash, but in goods. For example, 1 ton of buffalo bones would be paid for with 50 pounds of rope. When so many buffalo were being killed that buffalo bones began to run out, a few bone pickers collected bones from cemeteries or by desecrating Indian burial grounds. By the end of the 19th century, less than 1,000 free-roaming buffalo remained in the wild.